Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. My name is Joy Elizabeth and I just come on here and share my embroidery journey with you, a little bit about how I run my business from home and all of that. But today I'm going to bring you through how I actually am going to do a little bit of digitizing using Embrilliance Stitch Artist 1, and you will need Stitch Artist 1 for this, but taking a handwriting sample and turning it into embroidery. So this is something that I've done quite a few times. I will pop in a few pictures here of different examples of times that I've done this. But if you've been around for a while, you know that I do a lot of memorial items, particularly the memory bears. So with that, usually on the bottom, and I don't have any, well, I kind of have that little guy over there, but he's my son's. He's a little floppy because I didn't stuff him enough. But anyways, on the bottom of the foot usually is where, so like here is what I have stitched out for the foot. It's inside out because I'm going to stitch on the bottom of the foot. But before I stitch that on, that's where I'm going to put the message from the client. Now, sometimes it'll just say like shirts I used to wear, now a bear, maybe like a poem, or, you know, there's usually something small that I can fit on the bottom of the foot that has some kind of a meaning. So it makes these bears even more special for those who are grieving the loss of someone in their family. Or sometimes I'll just put like a heart on the bottom. There's a lot of different options and I try to keep it open-ended for my clients. The other thing that I've done, if it's too small to fit on the bottom of the foot, is I kind of do these. Well, these aren't really flat because they have the buttons. So I took the middle of the shirt and used the kind of flat body style. And I have a whole nother video. If you're interested in the memory bears and you want to know how to make them, you want to know the patterns I do use Planet Applique's patterns, and I do kind of like a mashup. And I talk about all of that in another video. I'll link it like somewhere up here. I think I'll have a card for you, but I will link that video. It's a pretty lengthy one because I do go into all the details of how I make these bears. And not even like, it's a lot of detail, but there's like even more detail that you can go to Planet Applique's website and kind of like her YouTube channel and watch. She has a tutorial too, step by step, like multiple videos, because it's just such an in-depth process. So anyways, so sometimes I could put a message on the front of the bear if you're doing the flat torso, which would be kind of like a mashup. I use a different animal. Actually, I think it's the reindeer. So I talk all about that in that other video. But today I am going to just put the message on the bottom of the foot. We're not going to do a poem or saying or anything. We're just taking this mother's son's handwriting and we're going to digitize it into his handwriting on the bottom of the foot. The sample that she gave me does have forever kind of like in the picture on the top, and then I think it says like I love you. It might just say I love you. I don't know. I have to look at it again. Yeah, it says I love you, and then there is like a part on the top. So I am going to digitize the forever and the I love you, but I'm going to have them, I'm going to give her the option. Does she want forever I love you, like I'll put them closer together? Does she want I love you forever, put the forever on the bottom? Or does she just want the I love you? I'm going to digitize it all, and then I'm going to set it up in different ways for her to see, and then let her choose how she wants it on the foot. So I'm going to walk you guys through all of that and how I do it. Again, I'm using Embrilliance software. So if you're not familiar with Embrilliance software, you can purchase it kind of in layers. So they do have a free version of Embrilliance where you can basically just use BX fonts. You would purchase your BX fonts. I usually get all mine from Etsy. You'd purchase your BX fonts, and then you can drag and drop them right into the program, and you could be able to type up and stitch out those fonts on anything. You'd be able to save them all in that free version. So that's pretty much it. You can open up a design. So like say I bought a design of a butterfly or something on Etsy. I could drag it over, or I could open it up in Embrilliance. So it would allow me to open it up, and it would allow me to add text. So that's pretty much all you can do in the free version, but I use that version for quite a while. And when I first started out, and it was great, and it kind of got my feet wet and being able to kind of do different things. I'm trying to think. The next layer I think I got was, so it goes Express, Essentials. So then in Essentials, it does give you a lot more flexibility with being able to select colors, I think. Anyways, the point is there's different layers. So as you're learning, like say you just started embroidering and you're not ready for like a full digitizing software and they're super expensive, and you just want the basics. You know you're not going to ever get into digitizing maybe, or you think you're not going to get into digitizing, and you just want to be able to open up your designs and add font. Try the Express mode first. It's completely free. Try that first, see how you like it, and then maybe start looking into Essentials and see what Essentials offers, and see if that's something that you want to build and add on. And that's how I started. That's what I did. So then I built in Essentials, and that I just use Essentials for, oh my goodness, probably I want to say like 2 years or 2.5 years before, more recently, probably within the last year and a half, I did go ahead and upgrade to Enthusiast and Stitch Artist 1. Now with Enthusiast, and it's not like they don't even build, they like are completely their own layer. So you could skip Enthusiast and just get Stitch Artist 1 if you wanted to. I mean, but I kind of like to be able to have all the package. I'm kind of like building it, you know. So in Enthusiast, you're able to add a knockdown stitch. So if you've watched some of my other videos, not a lot of them, but I kind of have, like, there's one on the puppy dog ears. I'll try to link it here, where I do use a knockdown stitch kind of for the first time, because honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the way it looks. Some people love it, use it all the time. I'm not the biggest fan. So anyways, it allows you to do the knockdown stitch. It allows you to, I think, so like I did a bunny, I'll pop a picture, it's over there, I don't feel like getting up. I did a bunny, a chocolate bunny, another design from Planet Applique, but it might have been one of her exclusives that if you missed it, you missed it kind of a thing. I can't remember. She's kind of funny how she runs some of her sales. Anyways, so this bunny, I had bought a little tiny carrot, and then I was able to put it in my program and put, what is it? Hold on, I got it right here. Why don't I just look? Let's see. Do I have to have a design in here to be able to do it? Okay. Oops. Hello. Oh, be right back. I got somebody outside. Okay, I'm back. Someone was coming to pick up something, so I had to run that out there. So what I was saying is, it gives, so in Essentials and Enthusiast, it gives you more ability to do something like what I did with those carrots. It's called scatter. I had to look it up. So you'd go to the utilities, drop it down, and it gives you a few other options of like how you can repeat things and do like you could do like a carousel. There's so much, okay, but we're not going to get into all of that today. I'm just trying to kind of give you a quick overall of like why things are layered, why you might want to look into different things. The other thing that Enthusiast gives you is the ability, I'm not sure what it's called, but it gives you, stitch edit. It gives you a stitch edit. So for instance, I have some fonts that are they're fonts I bought early on, and sometimes they'll have a stitch like in the middle of the A, and then like I would have to go in and cut it out, if that makes sense. And maybe you've never bought a not so great font, you've never run into that, but I bought like a huge packet of fonts. I think I bought like a whole website once. This is early days, please don't do that. Buy your stuff individually, because when you buy stuff in bulk like that, you just never know really like what you're getting. It was like a really good deal, so I kind of got caught in the moment, but then I haven't used most of the designs I bought. I do use a lot of the fonts that came with it, but some of them are just not, I'm not sure if that was that one or if that was just like a bulk font package that I bought off Etsy. Either way, sometimes you have like a stitch that's out of place, and the way I kind of work around that with, if I still want to use that font, is I can go into Stitch Edit and you can literally pick and choose stitches and move them. that is what I use the most out of Enthusiast. I'll go in and I can cut out parts of designs, and then I can manipulate the stitches where I want them to be. It's very time consuming and maybe not worth some of the time I put into it. But again, I'm not a full-blown digitizer, but Stitch Edit kind of gives you the ability to go in and you just like zoom way in, and it gives you the ability to kind of manipulate some of those stitches that are out of place. Like say you resize something and you know sometimes the stitches can get kind of messed up. I've kind of worked around that and gone in with my Stitch Edit and I've edited things. Maybe I'll get into teaching y'all how I do that one day, but I don't know. I'm like self-taught. A lot of what I've learned with Essentials, I've learned also from going to Lisa's YouTube channel. I don't know. I'm honestly, and you can get in the comments and inform me by all means. I'm not sure if she just works for the company or if she's a part owner of the company or what. But if you go on to YouTube and you look up Essentials, you'll probably run in, not Essentials, sorry, Embrilliance. Like, it's early and I'm still working on my coffee. If you look up Embrilliance, chances are you're going to run across some of her videos, and they are very detailed and they are very good. When I was researching, before I bought Enthusiast and Stitch Artist 1, I started to research Embrilliance. I wanted to research like, okay, is this something I really want to invest in? What can I do with it? I think it was like I wanted to make a keychain, like my own outline of the keychain and put the font in. So that's kind of what got me on the trail of like, okay, maybe I need to upgrade to a different layer of Embrilliance. Maybe it's time. So I would start researching. I started watching a lot of her videos, seeing what the programs could do. In doing that, I was learning things that I could have been already doing with some of like just having Essentials that I didn't know that I could do. So if you're interested in Embrilliance at all, I can give you what I'm going to do today, but don't just take what I give you as like the only thing it can do. This program is amazing and it can do so much, but go check out some of Lisa's videos because she goes into so much more detail. The other thing I do want to mention, and I did pull it up and I tried to play with it a little bit, is Doodle, which is the free kind of digitizing software that you get if you have a buy embroidery machine. It comes, you have a free subscription to this. Like you can just log in and you can use this. Because I am so used to Embrilliance and I've kind of like learned and trained myself to do Embrilliance, I personally would have to retrain myself to do Doodle. The way that they kind of have it set up is slightly different. And so the outcome would not be what I was looking for because I wouldn't be able to get it down to the detail like I can with my program. But I don't think that that's a negative thing on Doodle. I think it's because of I'm used to doing it this way, right? If Doodle was around when I first got my machine in 2021, it wasn't. Before I got all of the different layers of Embrilliance, I think I would have used it a lot more. And I would probably have loved it. So I love that that's out there for us. I love that we have that ability, that free access to being able to digitize simple things. Like there was, I'll try to pop a picture of the sweatshirt that I did way back when all I had was Essentials. The line, just to put the line in the sweatshirt underneath the words there, that's a bunch of L's. Just a bunch of L's. I flipped the L's on their side and I just copy and pasted like a bunch of L's to give the effect of having that skinny little line under there. I didn't have the ability to digitize a line, and I wasn't going to pay somebody 10 or 15 bucks to put a line in a design that I was trying to make. So, you kind of work around things and you kind of learn tips and tricks and things to do what you want to do. But if I had Doodle back then, putting a simple line in a design would have been so easy. Adding a heart or a star to a design or adding a little swoosh to a design, you can go into Doodle and you can do all of that. And I think that that is absolutely amazing and that's such a great resource for us. And maybe someday I'll play with it some more and show you how to use it, but I'm gonna be honest, I wouldn't do it justice. I wouldn't be doing it justice because I don't know it well enough. So without going into making this video extremely long, all I'm going to do today is show you how I'm going to digitize this handwriting sample. That's pretty much all we're doing today. I don't even think I'm going to turn on my machine for the video. I will be turning on my machine today. I have work to do. But without making this too much longer, let's jump right into the computer and I will show you exactly what I am going to do with this handwriting sample, and hopefully I will be able to explain it well for you. All right, so this is just something that I was already working on, but hopefully you can all see my mouse. If you come up here, actually right here, this little page with the star, this is a new page. So we are going to go and open up a new page. All right, so when you buy different layers of Embrilliance, you're going to get different toolbars or different things up here in your toolbar. So if you do have Embrilliance and you don't have Stitch Artist 1 or Enthusiast, you're not going to see some of these options up here, okay? So right here, this little arrow pointing to that little dot right there, that is Stitch Edit. So let me go back over here just so you can see. If I click on Stitch Edit, which is what you get with Enthusiast, I think, yes. You see it kind of like shows all the stitches, and then like here, we zoom way in, and then it's best if you don't have it in 3D. See how there's this 3D option? If you take it off 3D, you can really see your stitches, okay? So you're able to take them and literally move them. You can delete them. You can add and take away. So you can really get in here on a stitch level and change things and manipulate things and move things. So that is a great option and ability to have. It also, with Enthusiast, if you go up to utilities, this is where I was kind of talking. It has like instant repeat, mirror, carousel, and scatter. Those are all I believe those are all Enthusiast options. So you could, like, I don't really have a design small enough, and it wouldn't make sense with these big fonts. You can also do colors. I think, well, in color sort may come with essentials. Color sort might come with essentials. So you would just, like I said, you'd have to go and do your own research. Knockdown stitching, though, adding the knockdown stitch, let's just go ahead and do it. If I take it off 3D too, it'll probably, and if we get out of that, there's the knockdown stitch. So Control Z, I'm just going to get rid of that. Anyways, so that's a little bit about Enthusiast. But today, so that would be like this right here. Going to my new page. Today we're going to be in Stitch Artist 1, which is this Create Design right here. So it kind of has an arrow and it's pointing to, like, it looks like a part of a design with the stitches, and I don't know. So anyway, so this is where we're going to be today. So I'm going to click on that. When you click on that, it opens up all these different tools. So this is Stitch Artist. I only have Stitch Artist 1. Now I believe if you have Stitch Artist 2, I believe you go into the same design, Create Design, but it's going to have more options all in here on different things that you can do, more things that you can do. Like for instance, I know, let's just add like a square in here real quick, okay? Or, okay, we're going to add a circle. If I add a circle, hit enter, okay, and then I fill it, the only thing I can do here is I can move the direction of the fill, okay? And I can change the fill over here on the, it's this side over here. You see my mouse? I don't know what side it would be for you. Probably the same as me. You can go over here. There's a bar. You can change the kinds of stitches. You can change their length. You know, you can add a travel stitch. There's all these options, okay, for your fill and how you can manipulate your fill. But all I can do is move the angle. When you have, I know when you have Stitch Artist 2, it gives you more of these. So like, say you were doing which actually might be more helpful, and I'll talk about it a little bit more when we get into this sample of writing. I just deleted that because we're done with that. It would give you more of those yellow dots so that you could like add, like, I'm pointing with my finger but you can't see, a curve. Okay, so I don't have that. I don't have Stitch Artist 2. I only have Stitch Artist 1, and I make it work for me, and it has been working very well for me. Okay, let me try not to get ahead of myself. I'm trying to explain every step I do before I do it, so there's no confusion, but I'm sure there will be confusion, and I apologize. I'm doing the best I can to explain this. So up here in Image, I'm going to click Image. It's going to pull up and I work on a Mac, so if you work on a PC, I literally can't help you because I haven't worked on a PC since I was in high school. Okay, so here I have let's see, it's not in desktop, in downloads, I think, is where I have this. Nope, actually, go back to desktop. Uh-oh, documents, did I not save it? So you find your image, let me actually go into my Finder and see where it is. Oh, okay, there it is. Okay, this is the image I'm going to do. So it's in here. It's this one, I believe. Yeah, okay. So you find your image, you click on it, and you open it. Okay, yes, that's the image. So it pulls up a picture of what you are going to be working on. Now, if you do any kind of digitizing, this is what you would do. You can click over here on the transparency, and you can make it however you like it. 70 is probably fine. Okay, so here's where I was talking about. It has the forever up here, and it has I love you. So we are definitely going to be focusing on I love you. I'm going to like kind of position this so it's right on that line. Okay. We are going to use this bar over here, and we're going to scroll in. We'll work on I love you first. Okay. All right. So I zoom in to an area, and honestly, I could zoom in even more. Probably will, all the way over to this letter I. Zoom out a little bit. Okay, so let's just work on the I together slowly, and then I'll speed up if you would like to see the rest. I don't know. We'll just kind of see where this all takes us. Okay. So what I love about Embrilliance is draw with points. So up here, draw with points. This very first thing. This is honestly, I love it. And if Doodle would add a draw with points, I feel like I would use it so much more. It kind of just lets you draw things, and then it automatically puts the points where it wants. And then there's not much I feel like I can do to move those points. You'll see what I'm saying. Okay, so draw with points. So I click on draw with points. And I usually personally, and I'm not a digitizer, so I usually start somewhere on the upper left corner. If I'm like, say like I was going to start a design, I would just start something like that, close it up. That's personally kind of where I usually start. With this writing sample, we have to think about how the person probably drew it. So that's where we would want to start. I'm not really sure how this person, I guess it kind of looks like they did it. When I draw an eye, I always, do my line first and then top it and bottom it. It looks like this person started up here. Sometimes it's so hard to tell on a picture unless they started from the bottom. Because that could be like a drag line. If they started from the bottom. Okay, so here's where I start here. Here's my point, right? Now I could just go right straight up here. But I want it to have a bump right there, right? So I'm going to put a point right here, okay? And then I'm going to put another one here. Okay, so it's automatically going to curve it, and that's fine because I'll show you. We'll go in and fix that, Okay, we're coming down here. Now, this line is slightly thicker than this line. And if I want it to be a very super accurate to this handwriting sample as I can get it, I'm actually thinking I'm going to stop it there, and then I'll make this one a totally different line so that I can make that line a slightly thicker line. So I'm going to hit enter on my keyboard, and that's going to make this the design. Now I haven't assigned any stitches to it yet. I'll do that in a minute, but here's where I love, like, you can click on these points, and this is where it gives you these toggles and you can move them. Now this is a curved edge, and now if I right click on this, it gives you the different, you can assign each point a different job. So it's right now it's automatically set for curve. I can do a cusp, a line, and a symmetric. You know, I couldn't even tell you what symmetric does. I don't think I've ever used it. I'm not sure. Anyways, what I'm going to do here is I like cusp. I use cusp a lot. So cusp allows you to do each side individually. Okay, so this one's still on a curve, and you see when I move this side, it automatically moves this side down here, which is okay. It's kind of okay right now. So we'll just see how this, I think that'll be all right. All right, so you just kind of come in here and move these, I think they're called toggles, until you get it where you want it. I'm going to change it. That's too pointy up there. So when I assign stitches to it, here, we're going to do satin stitch. That's way too thick. We're going to come over here. We're going to bring it way down. Let's see. Is it going to be too thin to go that far down? I can always change these later. So we're going to go with that. So, enter. Come on. All right. So see how it kind of made that pointy there? Part of that is because it's a cusp. So I can come in here and I can change it back to a curve. It makes it really wide curve, but to make it a more narrow curve, I just pull the toggles in. Pull them in. Okay, now see how that made that a lot more rounded? So I like that better. So in this case, I think the curve, leaving it the curve is fine. You can also take it off the 3D and you can kind of see the thickness. See, this kind of shows me that this is a more accurate to where, you know, you can kind of get it exactly where you want it. Okay, we're going to come down here. Where's my other? There it is. Hello, I want you. All right. So you just got to play with those little toggles and you can get it exactly where you want it. I'm going to put it back in 3D. Okay. It doesn't matter what color it is because we're going to change all that anyways. Okay. So why I started down here, and I'm not sure how they did the handwriting, is because I'm assuming this line goes over top of that line. That would be my assumption. So now, and you see this is the stop, and you can move where it stops at stitches by just dragging that. Same thing with the start. Okay, you can come over here to the right side of the computer, I guess, where all your different options are for doing things. And you'll see, so we did the width, and there's density, which I don't get too much into density depending on what I'm working on. I just kind of let it be. You can add a top stitch, which we're not gonna, but it's an option. Oh, right here, this bow tie right here, you go into here and you can say tie entry, tie exit. I'm not gonna worry too much about that. We could, well, where'd it go? No, I lost it. Yeah, we'll go ahead and add. I'm not sure at the exit there if it's going to just continue on. It might stop and cut at the thread, but it's gonna be overlapping, so it might not. Anyways, again, I am not a digitizer. I'm just, this is what I do for my myself, for my own clients. Okay, so we're going to start anew. We click on the draw with points. Where are you going? And we're going to start anew. So I'm going to start basically right where we left off on that one. There's not a whole lot of bumps and movements here. A little bit of a bump right there. But I'm going to go ahead and put my line all the way across. Hit enter so it makes it a line. Now I'm going to click on it. And I am going to just drag this. And you see how, like, if I can kind of get it where I want it. I'm going to pull this down, I think. Pull it up. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to give it its satin stitch. Okay, the other thing we want to do is over here. You click on this, like, it kind of, to me it looks like an eyebrow. I don't know what it is. But you can do your starting point and your ending point. You can tell them how you want them to end. So at this end, we want it to be rounded. So you could do point, or you could do rounded. Oops. We're going to leave the start. Well, actually, I accidentally did this side. I think I did kind of like that rounded better. It fills in that area. See, the stitching is a lot thicker here. And actually, if you, this to me would be fine, and nobody would probably, the mom would look at this and be like, that is his handwriting. But what you can do, if you wanted this to pull down more, this is where that Enthusiast comes in handy. Am I saying that right? I always have to try to remember what order, what one is what. So if we go to the stitch edit, which comes with Essentials, Enthusiast, Stitch Enthusiast, okay. Then we can, here is where you can manipulate these stitches. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, this is where this could come in handy for you. You can manipulate just the stitches that you want to manipulate. I wouldn't be able to do this if I didn't have Enthusiast, okay? So see, it kind of gives it that thicker, rounded edge right there. So there you go. Same thing down here. I'm probably going to come down there and do the same thing right here. See? Same thing. We're going to manipulate these in, and see, this is where I'm saying, like, this, you complain about how much you're paying digitizers. Don't. Because, I mean, I'm sure that they have, because I'm just using, we're going to leave that one a little bit in because that is a turn. I'm not, I'm not a digitizer, and I'm sure they're, the higher up you go in the programming, they probably have more options on how you could do this without sitting and individually clicking on each stitch, right? But it's a lot more than you probably think it is. So next time you think a digitizer is overpriced, I think most of mine are around $10 or $15 for most of the stuff I'm getting digitized, which is very cheap if you consider what I'm doing here. Anyways, okay. We're going to go back into Stitch Artist 1. The, what's this called? My memory. Create Design. We're going back into Create Design. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is this bottom part of the eye. So we're going to go back to Draw with Points. I'm going to start up here because I'm assuming it looks like it maybe was a gel pen. I'm going to make that a separate line again. Okay. I'm going to pull this down. I might give this a point. See how that's very pointy? Instead of a rounded edge, I think I'm going to give that start point a pointy edge. Yes. Okay. Yep. I like that. All right. And then we're going to pull this in a bit, make that part straighter. Okay, go back to 3D. All right, I think that looks good. I'm wondering if, I just kicked something, made some noise. I'm wondering if this line needs to be a little thicker. But if I change it now, it might change what I did down here, but that's okay. The other thing you can do over here, okay, line thickness. So here, you have all these different options, and it's going to change, so like the line would start skinny and end thicker here. Let me just see what that would do. And we can always Control Z. If you Control Z, it's a shortcut on your keyboard. If you Control Z, it like goes back. Or if you don't know Control Z, you come up here to this arrow, and that's backward or forward. So you can undo what you're doing. Okay, so let's just see what this looks like. We're going to start skinny and end thick and just see. Why did you not do anything? It definitely changed what I did down at the bottom, but let me go back and see what that does again. I don't think that that looks right. Okay. Maybe it's because I don't have it very thick. Okay, we want it to start skinny and end thick. So I think that's number 2. Let's up the width a little bit, which down here in this 1.3, that is super, super skinny anyways. Now it's starting thick and ending. Okay, so it's the opposite. It's this one. Okay. You can go to 3D and just see. Okay, I think I like that. I am going to come back into, let me see, is that too thick? Sometimes you got to zoom out too. Let's zoom out for a minute. No, that's good. That's good. I'm going to come back into Stitch Edit. I'm going to go back down here. And I'm going to make these a little bit wider because it kind of like reset it because I changed a setting. That's okay. Oops. Clicked on the wrong one. Oh, hello. Control Z. We're going back. And what happened there? Okay. All right. Okay. Yep, that looks good. Okay, we're going to do this bottom swoosh. Now, the other thing is whatever you last did for setting, it usually does it again for the next one you do. So this one may have a thin start and a thick end, but we're going to, nope, it's a normal. It's a normal start, normal end, except the tips, this one's pointy and this one's rounded. That must be the last thing I did. I think I'm going to reverse that. We're going to make the start rounded and end pointed. And then we're also going to do a thick start and a thin end. And we're going to up this a little bit to, oh, that's way, let me see. Take off the 3D. Nope, I think that's good. We're going to move this over a bit. Okay. We're going to pull this toggle down a bit. Pull this toggle down a bit. Okay. It's hard to see because the paper background is giving it a very gray background here. But there is, if I take it off of 3D, you can kind of see these stitches, and I feel personally like they definitely match what we were going for. Put it back in 3D. There you go. The other thing you can do is come over here to this, by the image, where we put the image in. You see how this is gray? We can click on this so it's dark gray, and it takes the image away. The image is still there, but this makes it so you can see it or not see it. Okay? So that kind of gives you an idea. That would be the stitch. Okay, and then we can come over to this stitch here, this stitch simulator, this needle up here. You can click on this. I have it on top speed. If you do this slider, it'll go slower or faster. And the fastest it goes, let's just see what it looks like when it stitches out. Okay, we might need to slow that down a little bit. All right, come on, play again. All right, let's drag this over. I don't know why it's not resetting. Okay, play. Okay, that's way too slow. Y'all ain't got time for that. Okay. So yes, I think that looks very good. So there you have it. That is the first letter of, we're going to go back to, what's this called? Create design. We go back to create. We're going to bring back our image. And then we're going to work on the next letter. So the next letter is just L. We'll do that together. That's super simple. So we're going to click, enter. Then we're going to tap on whichever color. I'm going to pull this toggle down because there's the bump right there. Okay, and then we're going to pull this toggle up until we kind of get it to manipulate where we want it. Now, if you wanted to add another point in here, all you do is double click. This is now added another point in here that I can move. And so that's right in the middle. So I can bump this one up even more, pull this one over even more to give it more of a swooshing effect, if that's the right word. If I pull this up higher, it's gonna make it more straight here and more bump there. I don't even know if I'm like explaining this correctly. These are just the things I think while I'm doing it. This is the terminology I use in my own head. Okay, so we're going to give it, oh, do I have to click on it? Okay, now we're going to give it, assign it stitches. Okay, so here's where I said it's going to kind of do what it did last time. So it started thick and ended thin. We don't need it to do that. So we're going to go back over here and go to just normal. Okay, we're going to take it off of that 3D again. And let's see. Okay, we want this end to be rounded, not pointed. Okay. And then I can also pull it up a bit to kind of have it end where it's supposed to end. Okay, we're going back to 3D. I think that looks good. The next letter. Okay, I'm going to add a point kind of right here, and then because it really curves in pretty deep there and comes out. But here's the other thing. Say I added like too many points, okay, and I already hit enter. Oh man, you know, I decided I don't want this point here. All you do is double click and it's gone. And then you can use this slider to just move it where you need it. Like I actually don't think I need that one, because you can use your toggles to get it the shape you want. And to be honest with you, I might not even need that one. To be honest with you, whoops, too many, deleted too many. The less points you have, the smoother the stitching is going to be, if that makes sense. So if you can just get in here and manipulate it where you want it using your toggles, I think that's what they're called. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you use these, it kind of, it'll just give it a smoother look. I really don't know how to explain it. Okay, so for here, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a little bit of liberty, because when things are stitched, sometimes they look different than when they're drawn. This to me just looks too tight. That doesn't even look like the O. But if you look at it in 3D, that looks pretty accurate to what it was. We are going to we may add another point here. Pull it out all the way to the edge. Now it is going to make the stitches come out a little further, but the shape is still the same. And that's just going to give it more space. So when it stitches out, it's not too tight, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. I might add another toggle here and do the same thing. Pull it, not toggle, point. Okay. So you see Let's change the color. Maybe you'll be able to see it better. Well, let's just, yeah, we'll change it to white. That sounds good. Or yellow. Hello. Okay, so you can kind of see now better. It's still the right shape. It is wider in the middle and comes out further on the edge. Now, when I put it back in the 3D, I just personally feel like that looks better. I may even move this to this edge of it and this to this edge of it. Okay, I still feel like that is an accurate representation of the handwriting. This actually needs to come down further. Boop. Let's see. Yes. Now, actually, I'm wondering, I think I need to, if the person is right-handed, which is kind of from the slanting of the handwriting, it looks like it's left-handed, I actually think I need to switch these. I started up here and went down and around, but if you're, I'm trying to think, if I was gonna draw an O as a right-handed person, I would be starting over here, not over here. So actually, we're gonna delete it and do it over this side, right? Okay, we did end up putting a point there, point here. We're going to the outer edges. I don't know if I need that one, but we'll see. I don't think I do. Okay. We're going to the outer edges. That might be too much. I really liked how it looked before, but we'll see. Whoops. Well, okay. I think remember that one needed to be down further because it kind of does, the stitches go out a bit. All right, let's just give this some stitches and see. Oops, I gotta click on it to stitch. To give it a stitch, I gotta click on it. Okay. Let's see. It's very time consuming, I'm not gonna lie. There. Let's see. I think that looks good. Okay. I think that looks good. You can zoom out. Take away the background, you can kind of have an idea. We can change the color of all of it just to kind of have a better view of it, I guess. I think that looks good. So I would just continue on doing all of these stitches. So I guess the V is not going to take long. We can do the V. All right, this might be where I would put a cusp. I may not because this is handwriting and I just kind of want it to be smooth, so I may not do any cusps today. But if I was designing something else that had a very sharp angle like that, I usually would put a cusp in to give it so I can really manipulate one side over the other. It just depends on the angle that you're working on. See, I'm not crazy about the point there because it's handwriting and it wouldn't necessarily be so pointy. And the way that you can make this less of a curve is just to pull these points in closer to, pull the toggles in closer to that point, and then it gives it more of a point, if that makes sense. This one looks good. I might pull this part down just a tad, but yeah, that V to me looks good. The other thing I've done with handwriting is I might even move the E out slightly, but let's just see. I know that looks crazy, but give it a minute. It'll make sense. I kind of have been doing this long enough that I know where the points need to be, and then I just work on the toggles once I get. Okay. This one may need to be a cusp. Let's see. Well, no. You can kind of just play with your little toggle things until you get it where you want it. You can move them around. All right. Oop, too much. And just move it over. Move this one out a bit. All right. Let's see what. Ooh. Move something. I didn't mean to move. Let's see what it looks like with stitching. Oops, I'm gonna click on it. Okay, yeah, that looks good. We're gonna give this end more of a point. Oops. Where did I? There we go. And we're gonna give it more of a point. And we're gonna pull it in. Nope, we're gonna pull it out. There we go. Let's see. This I think needs to come in a bit. I think this needs to go up a bit, and this need to zoom in more. Where is that? There it is. This toggle needs to come. There we go. I was like, why did the stitches here? Do you see how the stitches just kind of looked weird? I don't know. All right. This, I'm gonna give this a point just so that it underlaps that a little better. Does that make sense? Yeah. See, it kind of just tucked it in a little bit more. Okay, now sometimes, and I don't know if I'm going to or not, sometimes if I go back over to the normal area, okay, it's gonna let me pick my letters individually. Sometimes when they're overlapping this much, sometimes I might just move it over a tad. You could even move it over, oops. What did you do? Yeah. You could even move it over that much, and I still think it would be kind of accurate, but we're only gonna move it over one little, so it's still, the handwriting is still true, but we just gave there a little bit more space in here. And that's your own, this is my artistic interpretation of the handwriting. But if you want to be like super accurate too, you can leave it back over, that's fine. I just want it to be more legible, and so that's what I do. All right. The other thing too is, I mean, really, we could make this thicker start to close in, because there's really no gap in that E. So we could, oh, I'm not in the right thing. Get back into edit, the edit mode. So we could, let's just see if we made it thick. Oh, see, that's too thin, I think. But come over here and make it a thicker letter. I don't like that. We're going back. I like it this way better. All right. So the more I look at this, I think I need to move this in. Maybe move this one in and up. All right. Yes. Okay. I like that. So there is I love. I got I love done. I will go ahead and finish the rest of them on my own. Because that is just going to be very time consuming for you to watch me. This is already over a half hour long. So, but anyways, let's just see. We'll just play it through real quick. And then I'm not going to stitch this on the actual shirt that the mama brought me because it's a plaid shirt. And although it probably would show up okay, I was thinking even for the face, sometimes on the bears, it's better if it's a solid. I've done printed fabrics before, but I'm thinking for the face and the bottom of the foot, I'm just going to use a complementary solid color fabric. So I'm going to probably stitch it out on gray and then probably, oops, hello, so many things open. Let's just pull up the foot. So this would be the bottom of the foot for this bear that I'm working on. I do not need the heart today, so we are going to delete that out. So this is how it stitches out the foot. I don't want that. Okay, so this is also, let's see, there, I can move all of these together. Oh boy. I may do. Remember how I said it has forever in there? I may move the U. I may move the U under like here and then move the, it's going to move the whole thing together, isn't it? Oh, unless I don't click on it. Let's see. Nope. Ah. Okay, well, anyways. I may put the I love up here, you down here, and then I might, is it going to move this whole thing? Forever. Possibly ask her if she wants the forever on this foot, or I will just put I love you. But the I love is going to have to go above the U unless I want to make it even smaller. But as you've seen when I was digitizing this, it's already pretty thin. This lettering, oh, keep hitting the wrong button. This lettering is already, some of these letters, 1.9, what's this one? That one's 2.2. 1.9. Some of these letters are already pretty thin. So I don't want to make them too much thinner. So I'm going to put I love and then move the U under here. It'll still be his handwriting, but it'll be nice and big. So that's my plan, but that's basically, I was going to say quick, but you know me. Now nothing I do is ever quick. So anyway, so that's the overview of how I would be digitizing handwriting. So I don't do a ton of digitizing myself, but this is one thing that I do like to do. I don't charge enough probably for the amount of work this is. Actually, I don't really change the price of these bears that I make with the add-ons like the handwriting and stuff. I don't. And part of the reason being that these are already highly priced bears for the customer, not for me. I know the amount of work that goes into them. But a lot of times these are bears that are, these are for families that are grieving. So kind of my tribute to those families is to try to keep them affordable. So if I'm adding things that are so special like this, I don't typically charge more. But you can do what you would like to do. That's just me. So let me go ahead and finish this out on my own and stitch it out, and I will show you all the finished little bottom of the foot. Probably not the finished bear because I won't get to it today, but I can show you the foot. So I will get this done and see you guys on the other side. All right, so I just pulled it off of the machine. Let me just trim down some of this extra fabric. All right, so I think they came out really well. I think in the past I have done some fonts that are smaller, so I probably could have shrank these down quite a bit more, but I really wanted to leave them somewhat bigger to be legible. I'm still waiting for the customer to get back to me if this is okay that I do it on a solid color fabric. But I went ahead and stitched it out in good faith that she is going to say that she would, you know, that she trusts me or she wants to go with this or whatever. But I wanted to honestly test it out anyways. And I would hate to have stitched it out and it not stitched out well on her son's shirt, which there's only so much of it, you know, and she wants, it was a long sleeve, I want to say, oh, there's the tag. Oh, that's just the washing instructions. I want to say it was an extra large long sleeve flannel shirt. And she wants definitely 2 of my larger bears out of it. And then she asked if I would just save whatever was left because they have a little baby. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to make the larger bears, and then with what I have left, I'm probably going to offer to make a smaller bear. And honestly, I might not even charge her for the smaller bear. It's tragic. Anyways, so here is the body, the torso, just so you can kind of get an idea. This is like a cream, like an ivory color fabric. So I was thinking that that would probably match the best with the bear. So that's what I stitched it on, and heaven forbid I would have messed up on her shirt. It's better that, especially when I digitize my own stuff, I always like to practice it out, try it out first anyways. So I went ahead and did it on this in good faith that everything was going to be fine, and she's going to want this color for the feet and the face. Everything else will be stitched in the plaid. And if she doesn't and she wants it all in the plaid, it's not a big deal. I will stitch it out in the plaid. But now I know that it's going to stitch out well and that I like it and it looks good. And I think it's definitely a true representation of his handwriting, and it's going to be so, so dear and so, so sweet for her. So maybe you're not doing memory bears. Maybe you're not doing these types of projects. I have still done handwriting, and I'll pop in a picture right here of just a piece of fabric that is stitched with all of the handwriting of all of the grandbabies, and it makes a beautiful Christmas present framed. This one here is actually the one that I did for my mom, and actually the top verse, or the top line that is different than the rest, and it's all in caps, that's actually my older brother's handwriting, and he did pass away a few years ago, and I just happened to have found a card with his handwriting in it, and so I was able to take that and write that out for my mom. So that was so, so special for her, so unexpected, such a beautiful tribute. But also there's my handwriting and then like one is the children, and then the other one is the grandchildren, so that's why there's 2 picture frames. But anyway, so that is an idea and an option. And then I showed you guys the sweatshirts, but I'll pop them in here again. I did this for Mother's Day one year for an entire class. Just did the handwriting of every student in that, I think it was kindergarten or preschool or something like that. So anyways, there are options, but now you know how you can do it, and you know how I do it anyways. And like I said, I'm not a professional digitizer. I'm completely self-taught. So if you are and you watch this all the way through, well, you know, kudos to you for watching this all the way through. And if you notice things that I did that maybe weren't the correct way, I guess, to do it, just give me some grace. I would love to know. You know, always am open to suggestions, but I feel like my outcomes are usually what I'm looking for, so I'm pretty happy with my work. But no, I'm not a professional, and I don't do it for others. I do it for myself, and I have just enough knowledge to be dangerous in a way. So thank you all for coming along with me on this part of my journey and just something new and different. And I hope that you found this helpful and that you learned something today. I will see you all in the next video.